This is a video that's been years in the making. Today's video is the Hanzo rant, where I'm just gonna get cut straight to it here. The developers have completely destroyed everything that was enjoyable about Hanzo. This is the worst state he has ever been in since Overwatch 1, like early OG days. Now, let me preface this and talk about why I'm qualified to talk about Hanzo. Hanzo is the hero that made this channel, to be honest with you. He was like my first main that back in the day in Overwatch 1. And even now, you could say, too, if you wanted to take off as a streamer, one of the easiest ways to do it was to be known for a certain character. Like, you know, you had Fitzy here on Sombra back in the day. You had Raksu on Hanzo, Seagull on Hanzo, then me following them on Hanzo. You could go down the list, but there's a lot of different people that were known for certain characters, like Kabaji Tracer, right? You know, so stuff like that, where Necros Genji is a great example, too. Shout out Necros. Appreciate the host today, brother. You know, Marvel Rivals has been really fun. I got a video coming out about that soon. That game is freaking sweet. I cannot wait to talk to you guys more about that. But Hanzo brought a very unique identity to the game, even when he was bad in Overwatch 1, in that he was the projectile sniper. He was a threat with Scatter Arrow, which then got removed. Or, again, he was just a threat. He could do a lot of damage, and Dragon Strike could really cleave through tanks and do a lot of damage from zoning, but he was very, very difficult to play. He was not a hero that anybody could pick up and get value on. Since then, he's gotten worse and worse. And for me, like, you know, my Hanzo montage is top 5 most viewed montages, like, ever. It's got like a million views or something like that from 2018, 2019. I'm not sure when it came out, but you know, I was known for Hanzo. He was my best hero. There was a point in time where I was the best Hanzo in North America. Like, I stand by that. That contender season in GOATS meta where I was playing Hanzo, I was crazy at the character. And back then, you know, I was grinding. And I admit wholeheartedly, I am not the player I was now wait. I'm not the player I was back then now. Sorry, I got that wrong. But, you know, I still could play Hanzo at a good level, and it felt rewarding to play. But not only is he terrible in terms of power levels in the game, but everything that made him unique and fun and rewarding to play is no longer there. His one-shot is gone, even though his critical hit rate is significantly lower than Widowmaker's. Everybody is under this misconception that he just hits random headshots, okay? Welcome to the projectile role. Do you think every projectile character is just a random lucky shot? No, you're coping. You are coping. Does a Hanzo maybe hit one headshot that he wasn't aiming for in a game across the map? Maybe. But it's not like every shot the character hits is all of a sudden just some random lucky shot. No, you can actually interact with the arrow by attempting to dodge it. It is a slow-moving projectile. You can move. But players always insist that every time they die to a Hanzo, or a lot of time they die to a Hanzo, it's a random headshot. So why is the answer to just remove the one shot from his character? Because now he's just a worse version of Cassidy. He's a worse version of Soldier. He's a worse version of Sojourn. Name one thing that he excels at or is unique for compared to the rest of the cast. In which case, why is he even in the game? He's more diveable than Widowmaker. He's not as consistent a sniper as Widowmaker, right? He doesn't have the burst damage that something like Cass can do with his right click on tanks. Especially now with the new tank passive that reduces critical hit damage. So what does Hanzo excel at? In Overwatch 1, let me tell you what Hanzo could do well. Before Baptiste, he was very, very good. What I was very good at was positioning my Dragon Strikes in backlines, right? So that you could either catch supports who were out of position and really surprise people. Like, what made me so good at Hanzo was my Dragons and how I could split and zone teams. And back then, when there were 2 weaker tanks in the field, not only could you really burst them down with Storm Arrow, or in general, just one headshot to either force a resource or get a kill, you could also split the team with Dragon Strikes and force the tanks out of position. But now that the solo tank has so much health, not only are you not good at really bursting that tank down, but splitting the tank doesn't really matter because, again, it's just one super tank that has some insane damage mitigation. Like, what does it matter that I burst down a Roadhog when he can just sit there and vape at 800 HP now? Vape and run around the map. Like, I'll never punish that Roadhog. Zarya can use 2 personal bubbles. Reinhardt has more base armor. Mauga I'm not doing anything to. It's not even worth shooting at the tank. And the squishies all have hypermobility, so they can all just get out of my dragons for free. On top of that, Bap has his immortality field, which just completely negates Dragon Strike. Whenever they put Bap in the game, that made it so that if you dragon the team in double shield meta and they had drone, you were just giving them window, which was a better ultimate, and then Blizzard buffed that ult. For some reason, which you're going to see in this video, Dragon Strike still does not destroy deployables. Still, to this day, does not destroy deployables. Why on earth should my Dragon Strike, my ultimate, not destroy an immortality field? Why? Why does it not do that, right? And I've let this slide because I've just given up on the character. It's very clear that Blizzard just wants Hanzo on the farm because there's some misconception. I don't even know what to say about it. It's so sad to see this character that I fell in love with, that I made this channel on, fall so far from grace and get absolutely eviscerated by the developers. So let's talk strictly Overwatch 2. Right? Forget the old playstyles where you used to be able to Dragon Strike backlines, get value from dragons from splitting teams, shooting tanks that could die, one-shotting squishies, okay? Removing his one-shot has made the character obsolete. Hanzo is diveable. He's more diveable than Widowmaker. He's more diveable than most DPS. All he has is his leap and his wall climb. And not to mention, before Blizzard removed the one-shot, there was one change in Season 5, I remember this distinctly, of Overwatch 1, where they let Hanzo pre-charge an arrow wall climb, and as long, like even though you climb the wall, your arrow would come back as charged as it was before. So you could duel Widows by pre-charging your arrow, wall climbing, and having it ready to shoot because she's hit scan, right? So she could instantly dink you. Instead, now Widow can fire 2 shots at you before you can get 1 off because you can't even do the wall climb peek anymore. So not only did they remove the wall climb peek first, they then removed the one shot after and didn't give it back to Hanzo. So he can't even be a surprise duelist versus any of the hit scans or flankers in the game that can just get the jump on him. He does nothing. He is the worst duelist in the game. He does nothing. Absolutely zilch. So why did we not give that buff back to Hanzo when you remove the one shot? Why? Why does that not happen? It's like there's no thought being put into like any of this for this character. And so they're trying to make this 5v5 format work, and they don't care how many heroes they gut their identity along the way, which just absolutely sucks for an old school Hanzo player, and especially projectile role in general, because it feels like we're just still playing Sojourn at high level play. And I know most of you guys don't play Sojourn in average ranks, but I mean for us it's just Sojourn's better in every way. But you know, the devs answer, and this just made me so damn mad to see, was to give Hanzo a trade-off on his ult, and they made it move faster. It just shows they don't understand Hanzo. Like, so if dragons move faster, there's an advantage and a disadvantage, right? The advantage is that it's harder to get out of the way when you see it, right? But a lot of the times you want to blindside through walls regardless. So I don't really know. And most heroes either have hypermobility in Overwatch 2, so much health like a tank, because now if that dragon moves faster and they didn't make it longer, it does less damage and less zoning over time, which is about the only thing it was good for, because if you do it around the corner, it won't break the immortality field. And the BAP comps are usually when Hanzo gets played, because Hanzo gets played with BAP and poke, and BAP gets played with poke. So there'll be a BAP every game, and if you make a smart dragon on an angle to pinch their backline and force them in, they just drone across it. And now you're stuck. You'll see it in this video where we grab dragon, and I can't break the drone, but my ultimate ability against a cooldown does nothing. And it's just so frustrating. Like, I used to log on and grind Hanzo to be the best Hanzo every single day. I gave it up for Doomfist, and that's when I started learning Doomfist in double shield meta, because he was the new projectile hero meta that kind of went around the bullshit in the game. But now my dragons can't even do max damage or enough damage to a tank, because they're just going to go through the tank like 20% faster. So I'm doing 20% less damage to a tank that everything all the health got buffed in Season 9. When Lifeweaver can just grip them across the map, Kiriko can Suzu, right? Most of them have so much health and cooldowns to solo tank that you won't ever get anything with it. So it's just insane that creators and people in the community, and I'm just going to call you guys out. If you think Hanzo is just a random headshot hero, one-shot hero, you are just bad at the game. You're just bad. Let me break some numbers down for you, okay? Hanzo has a lower base accuracy stat than Widowmaker does. And this is my point, like the blatant hit scan bias. Explain to me why Hanzo should lose his one-shot, but Widow can keep hers. Hanzo one-shot, 250 damage in the head, or at least it was previously. Widowmaker, 300. Hanzo, lower bullet velocity that can be dodged, as well as bullet fall off, so it drops, so you have to know how to aim it. Widow, fall off that's so far away, it doesn't matter, with no bullet drop, can rattle off shots at a range that you can't contest. Widow, grapple hook, can get away from a dive cleanly and clean out of the engage. Hanzo has a very small leap, and while that leap can be helpful, it's not enough to get out of an entire engage if you get dove. So you have to be more careful and forward with your positioning as Hanzo to make something happen, because his range is more medium than Widow's, right? Let's talk accuracy and critical hit rates, okay? A great game on Hanzo, a great game, is 40% accuracy. Generally, probably it may be in the 30s for accuracy, right? On top of that, with the old projectile size, maybe even the new ones as well, you'd have a crit rate of about 10 to 15% if you're lucky. If you're lucky, that 10 to 15% are like the best Hanzo players. On the old proj size, it could be like 8 or 9, right? So 8 or 9%, or about 10 to 15% of the shots that you hit are critical hits. So 10 or 15% of 40%, if you're having a great game, are critical hits. Widowmaker, generally 50 to 60% scoped accuracy, okay? With good Widows having between 30 to 40% critical hits on scoped. So, Widow players get way more criticals. They can do them from a way farther range where they're way safer. They have better escape options. They still have the SMG. Why is it that Widowmaker gets to do all of that, but Hanzo can't do it to anybody when you actually have a chance to interact with the Hanzo? And the reason for that is the community has gaslit themselves because they're bad into thinking that every Hanzo shot is just RNG, therefore he should not be able to one-shot. It's absolutely insane. They removed Hanzo's one-shot without even attempting to make him comparable to any of the other hit scan, though granted, he loses his entire unique identity in the game because at that point he's just a soldier or a Cass, right? But if you break down the actual numbers, the point is his one-shot is not nearly as oppressive as Widowmaker's in the game. So why does he get singled out? And I think it's because people claim that it's RNG or they simply just hate Hanzo. Well, newsflash, if we were just destroying heroes that we don't like, then I demand Widowmaker lose her one-shot today. Next patch, Widowmaker should not be able to one-shot. Give her a Barrett 50 cal, okay? Get this crap out of here. You know what? If heroes shouldn't be able to one-shot, or like heroes I hate, then Roadhog shouldn't be in the game. If he vapes, he should not be able to shoot his gun the rest of the game. If Hog vapes, he should do half damage for 10 seconds until his vape's back. I don't know. Some stupid stuff like that. But it's disgraceful that Hanzo, one of my favorite characters, has been treated this poorly by the developers and frankly the community for this long. And at this point, this is the tipping point. This is too much. You've destroyed this character's entire identity for what? So, you know, I just wanted to rant about this. It's really frustrating. This is why you don't ever see me play Hanzo anymore. To all my OG viewers, it's just not worth the effort. In Overwatch, if you want to have fun, you need to play characters that reward you for the effort you put in. And you could be the best Hanzo in the world, but there is nothing more depressing than hitting a headshot across the map and seeing a target at 1 HP. It's miserable. He's not a hit scan hero. He can't finish targets off like that. He was not designed to be like this. So either give him back his one shot or significantly buff and rework the rest of his kit, Blizzard, because it's inexcusable what's happened to this character. I don't know how Ardgay does it. Shout out Ardgay, the only Hanzo player who has stuck with this from day one to this day. I do not know how you do it, but good for you. It just effing sucks. So that is why I don't play Hanzo anymore. It is insane what has happened to this character. It is very, very sad. That is my Hanzo rant. That's why I don't touch the hero. There's no skill ceiling that's worth touching. You don't get rewarded for making good plays, and you get countered by brain dead abilities. You're just worse at everything in the game than other characters. And he was a jack of all trades, master of none, and then they nerfed literally everything that he did. From being able to poke up at duels with pre-charging arrows to his one-shot to now Dragon Strike just being out. Dragon Strike, to be fair, is just outdated. If they make it destroy deployables, it might be better. But the devs just don't know what to do with this character. And I'd ask that you guys maybe consider sitting down and really thinking about what it is that Hanzo brings to the table. If you're going to stick in 5v5 and maybe give him his one-shot back or change some of the other stuff. Like, come on, you got to give him some compensations that actually matter. So that's the Hanzo rant to all my OG viewers and the Hanzo players out there. I'm sorry they gutted this character. He's nothing like he used to be in Overwatch 1. There's no... Even if he's a bad character in the frame of the game, his gameplay loop and his identity as a character simply doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. It's gone. So that's why I've let him go. I'm not playing him. So that's the Hanzo rant. Thank you guys so much for watching. They gutted the character. He's absolutely F-tier, unpickable, and unfun. The worst kind of combo. So salutations, guys. It's Black Panther time in Marvel Rivals for me. All right, guys. Much love. Take care. See you later. Peace out.